Hello, everyone, and welcome back to one of these interview episodes of the SWW show. I'm Mike. Here with me a special guest from decently around the world. To get started, do you mind introducing yourself and what we're here to talk about?
Yeah, sure. My name is Thomas. I'm a senior developer, if you want to label that, because we don't use labels at Orbital Night, but yeah, I'm a senior developer working on Castle Crumble mainly right now at Orbital Night.
No, that makes perfect sense. I was going to ask kind of before we get into Castle Crumble, if people don't know, could you kind of describe like who is Orbo Knight and kind of like the top line history of kind of studio? Obviously, it's your guys' second game currently on Steam.
Yeah, on Steam, it's actually Castle Crumble is going to be our third game, but there's been a gap between the last game that we published on Steam because Orbital Night is mainly a mobile game developer. So we started on mobile, and we've been and are still on mobile mainly, but recently, we in like 2 years, I would say, yeah, 2 years, we started to branch out. So we started to develop for other platforms. One of them is Switch. The other one we ported when Apple released its Vision Pro headset. We ported Spire Blast and Castle Crumble on it as well. So and now we're moving Spire Blast and Castle Crumble on Steam, mostly focusing on Steam Deck and handheld consoles, but.
I was gonna say I definitely have things kind of before I kind of get into I guess my specific kind of questions thoughts there too. People who know that what kind of is the top line of what is Castle Crumble? What is your pitch?
Yeah, so it's like a casual game about destroying castles. I don't know if you can put it more clearly than
It kind
that,
of
but
reminds me of almost like Boom Block vibes, like kind of the like initial when I saw it, like oh I'm just throwing things and destroying it.
yeah, that's basically it. You're just throwing things and destroying, and it's like a toony, very casual sort of vibe, like not really taking itself serious, which you can tell by looking at the graphic style, and especially during the special events that we have from time to time. We're also trying to take it like take the approach like with a smile and not really taking ourselves seriously. Yeah.
That sounds absolutely good. I was because I'm actually curious, kind of as we'll kind of dig into the specific of the game here. As you just said, this is across a lot of locations and devices. How did that change? How did that almost evolve it? I'm kind of curious because like obviously you started mobile, you poured it over to the Vision Pro, and has to function pretty differently to like a Steam Deck. How does that kind of did that change kind of the game, or did you have to redesign it a bit?
Yeah, so we started on mobile, and on mobile by mobile, I mean the Castle Crumble was exclusive to Apple Arcade, so it was only available on iOS devices and on the Apple Arcade specifically. And it was from the beginning working. Since we started working, we were mostly focused on mobile platforms like iPhones and iPads. But since Apple Arcade requires the game to be available on all Apple Arcade platforms, that included Apple TV and Mac. So we would have to focus on a broad range of platforms from the beginning. So once we had that, and we had the possibility to move to other platforms like Steam and handhelds specifically. It was quite easy because we already had different control schemes prepared, and the game was from the beginning working on different platforms. So with different control schemes, like with the gamepad, with touch, with mouse and keyboard, for us working and testing it locally. Because we can imagine while playing and developing the game, we don't use touch, obviously, on the day-to-day basis working in the editor. So the game, for testing purposes, have full keyboard and mouse support as well. And the gamepad, of course. So we were prepared on that for that. Vision Pro was, that was a completely different approach.
So, like,
obviously.
I wish I should have done this research again. So when you Vision Pro, is it like you're playing this like an AR type game, like it's the experience out in front of you, or are you more like equivalent to like what we think of as like a VR, like you're kind of in an enclosed spot and you're just throwing it? Like, kind of how did you kind of handle that problem?
Yeah, so with Vision Pro, there were different approaches. Some developers chose like to have like basically a copy of their iOS game, so have a flat 2D screen with some 3D effects or VR effects on top of it. But you were basically playing a regular game. What we chose was to leverage what Vision Pro offers and have a full AR experience. So you're basically placing your island inside your room everywhere. So you can scale it, place it, move it further back or closer. You can walk around the castle and shoot from any position. And that was a lot of fun, challenging for sure, but fun also, since it gave a whole new perspective. And even watching the castles crumble and fall down and being destroyed, it's a great experience for this device. So yeah, if you haven't tried it and you would have the possibility, then I highly recommend it. It really shines on this device. So it's.
I was gonna say, it almost seems really like good. It is one of those experiences that seems like a fun, like I could see ways where it's like really fun to like mess with, kind of in that literal way, because in the same way that like you're like acting things and things explode a bit different angles and stuff. But let's kind of jump into kind of the experience itself. So we load in, you load a level. What's kind of the goal? What is the player kind of more concretely kind of doing once I load in a level?
Well, the main goal is to, like, of course, to beat the level, but to beat it as efficiently as possible. So by using the least amount of ammo, because you get points based on the amount of ammo that you finish the level with. So the more ammo you save, then the more points you get. And that's basically it. The concept is using the least amount of ammo to beat the level. So making the shots as efficient as possible. So picking the right spot or the right strategy to collapse the castle, basically.
Do you have like a favorite, like you load in, you have a strategy, like I always like to use a certain thing first, or kind of you aim certain spots, or do you kind of try to kind of vary per level when you mess around with stuff?
Yeah, it definitely depends on the level, because each level has different weapons and different interactables. So as there are different things that might help you on different levels, like flying balloons with TNTs or like fans that blow debris that you from the castles that you collapse, and you can use that to point the debris on different elements or different parts of another castle, or point it towards a TNT, so you would have like a chain reaction of things. It depends per level. Me, for playing so long, obviously, on it, I prefer the later levels, which are a bit more complicated and you can do much more stuff. since you unlock also on further levels more types of weapons and the different interactive mechanics that appear there. So it definitely, there's no one tactic, but I don't want to spoil anything, but yeah, you get a hang of certain things that work together with each other. So the more experience you get, you definitely have some tactics on your own.
I was gonna say, with that one then, do you have kind of looking later or whatever, without obviously spoiling the entire experience for people, any favorites or weapons that you like when you get that stand out to you as like something that's either really fun to use or see what happens?
Yeah, one of those weapons would be the TNT, which you can place strategically and then use it to have a very nice chain reaction explosions. I also liked one of the newer ones, which is forgot what it's called in the game, but you basically place 3 markers and there's a ship flying by that shoots rockets from the sky, and you can.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, it is, and you can nicely like pinpoint what you want to happen, and then the most satisfying feeling and thing is when the whole castle like explodes or.
Say it's that I almost feel like I want it to be like that you work on the base and you get like the perfect, so then everything like purposely all comes down like a house of cards.
Yeah, that's exactly the feeling that me obviously everyone plays differently, but for me that's the main goal, to like place things around and then make everything boom basically.
No, that is great. So you said when we started talking that you were a designer. That's right. I wrote that down right. Senior designer or whatever equivalent.
Developer.
Yes. I was gonna say, kind of jump back then. Do you mind kind of talking about a bit more, kind of like what is the size of the people on this kind of team wise? Kind of what does it look like? You're a developer. Are there more developers? Are there multiple artists? Kind of what is that?
Scaled up and down depending on the moment in time we were with the game. Right now, all the systems are mostly fully developed, so there's less people required for new things. But at the beginning, there was, let me count, 8 to 10 of us. So there were, even more. Yeah, there were 3 to 4 developers. There were, by developers I mean programmers, 4, 5 graphics designers, 3 game designers, and a couple of people from QA. Because we have like almost 1,000 maps right now, so that's quite a lot of things that you have to test with each release, and each release really requires like going through everything. So
oh yeah, no, I feel like you have that fun challenge in this one of not only do you have future release problems, but like you then have to go back and be like, did we accidentally break something? Does this work? Is this a different game?
Yeah, and unfortunately it happens because you might fix some systems the longer the game's alive. So you're still adding levels, mechanics, and modifying things. So it's possible to break something, but we have our QA has processes in place to catch those kind of things. So we mostly are bug free. Of course, stuff happens.
So like
that's unavoidable, but yeah.
I do love always when people are like, stuff should only ship bug free. I go, you would never get anything because someone will always find a bug. It's just a matter of what is the bug and how much does it matter.
Yeah, sometimes it even surprises us, like how, but yeah, but I'm thinking that there's 1,000 levels and different mechanics and everything, it's still relatively, I would say, bug-free, judging by the size and the amount of things that going. Like, this is a physics-based game, so there's physics interactions in each and every level. Like, and this being a physics-driven game, there's always something that like someone can shoot from an angle that something happens that none of us caught, so there's always a possibility that something would happen. But right now, after Castle Crumble, it's not on Steam yet, but it's been on Apple Arcade for over 2 years right now, so and it's been on Vision Pro for a year as well, so it's been fairly well tested, I would say.
I was gonna say then, actually gonna led into my next kind of point kind of naturally then. So obviously you said physics heavy. What was kind of your, I don't say physics philosophy, but I don't know a better phrase, but like, because to me a lot of the stuff when I think of like physics games or physics entities, like that whole thing, like, do you look at physics as I want the physics to be realistic, or do you want to look at the physics almost like a fun, like, oh, we had to tweak some things just to make this feel better or be more right?
Definitely, it has to be fun first. So it's not like if you would see the game that it's all physics calculated, but physics modified with settings that fit the style and the fun of the game. So it's still physics calculations using Unity physics in our case, but it's modified and tweaked a little bit to be more fun. Still looking semi-realistic, of course, but fun is definitely on the first place. Like the game has to be fun, otherwise it doesn't make any sense like to release it. So yeah.
No, that makes sense. I was because you definitely, I've seen games that do both, and like, or they try to argue like the chaos of real physics is the fun, but it's like, yeah, there is this thing of like, I think a combination of both like game mechanic and then even things like performance, the amount of devices you're on, all this stuff. I'm like, just letting physics run wild. I'm like, I feel like it gets chaotic real quick.
Yeah, and it's you would say that if everything was realistic, it seems more intuitive for people, but it doesn't. It's like people expect certain things in games to work in certain ways, so you have to account for that, and it has to be like semi-realistic. That's what I said. Like, you think it's realistic, but it's modified in a way that it feels to you, to you, the player, comfortable, realistic. I'm not sure if I'm...
Yeah, no, that phrasing is it's almost like to the player. It reminds me of like this idea of like remasters and like stuff in like we're talking about games, right? Where like we try to make things look like how the players think they remember it being. It's almost like you're trying to make players physics act like the way players think physics would act, versus like a person who actually understands physics.
Yes, exactly that. Exactly that. So they have the feeling of it being good, basically. So
no, that makes absolutely sense. Obviously, kind of we've talked kind of physics. You go into short level. What is there anything mechanically or something that you want to shout out that you feel like we have not talked about yet that you feel like we're missing, kind of people to understand more about Castle Crumble?
Not really sure. Like, I would just encourage everyone to try it because it's really fun and it's really relaxing, and it's a puzzle game, but it's not really a puzzle game. Like, it's a very casual puzzle game. Like, you would say it's a puzzle because you would, like we talked before, trying to figure out where to shoot, but it's not very intense. Like, it's very casual and relaxing to play. So you go a castle by castle by castle by castle, and then you beat the biomes relatively easy, and it's an enjoyable experience. It's hard to describe, especially if you play on a handheld device. It fits the Steam Deck or any handheld basically very nicely. Like before moving to Steam, we didn't really try it on any handhelds because there's no Switch version as well. There will be, spoiler. But since trying it on the Steam Deck, I would say it plays on the same level or even nicer sometimes than on an iPad or an iPhone. So, yeah, I think that's...
No, that makes absolute sense. Since we were aware then, the game we talk about today is Castle Crumble. Obviously, you're part of Orbital Knight. You can currently go check out Castle Crumble on, it sounds like a bunch of devices, right? So it's on Apple Arcade, it's soon to be coming to Steam. There is currently a demo. Oh no, I'm sorry, demo. And there's currently also, you could wishlist it also currently on Steam too. So that way, obviously, go check it out kind of the way out. Yeah, so obviously you guys come out with this some point. It's saying Q2 on Steam. Is that still kind of the goal?
Yep, basically after Steam's Next Fest, which is happening on June.
I was gonna say it's like a few weeks. Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah.
So, perfect. Well, again, I want to say thank you for taking your time to talk to me today about this game. Obviously, I actually look forward to it. It looks, honestly, Castle Crumble looks a lot of fun. Immediately, the art style stood out to me. It gave me, like I said, like that Boom Blocks type of look to it. So I'm excited to kind of see how it all plays a bit more. Kind of, I'll probably mess with it on Steam Deck. So, but again, thank you for talking to me today. Obviously, we'll send people to the Steam page to go wishlist the game. Anyone else we should be sending people to go check out your team's work or this game some more?
Yeah, there's also Spire Blast. So that's another game that this actually precedes Castle Crumble. It's like a match 3, also physics based. You can tell we're focusing on physics a lot with our games. And that one was also on Steam. It's released earlier this year on February.
Perfect. Well, we will make sure we link down to that down below. So yeah, go check out their work. And again, thank you for talking to me today. And best of luck as you guys kind of finishing up development of the Steam port of the game.
Thank you. It was very nice talking to you.